Today I'm going to build a bipod style stand for my metal detector, and you can see the parts that I've got here. This is what I'm going to use. I've got a T, I've got some elbows, I've got some caps over here, I've also got some pipe. It's all 3/4 inch. I'm not going to give exact dimensions because each person's preferences are going to be their own. And this little T here, well, you might recognize him from another video. Go look for that one on your own. I also happen to have one of these things lying around. It's kind of a three-way with a threaded cap part here. I'm going to use it because A, I've got it laying around, and B, it's going to make this bipod detachable. So we'll see how it works. Okay, so I went ahead and I marked the center line there on this T joint and drilled a couple holes here in the top of it. I'll call that the top, and I drilled some larger holes in the bottom. So I'm going to see how this is going to work. That's where I'm going to run my screws through to actually mount it to the frame of the metal detector itself. I'll show you that. So as you can see, I've got the detector itself off the frame of the metal detector here, and this is where that part's going to bolt on. That's where that would sit. It's right there. And my plan is to kind of slide this on here like this and maybe attach it through the bottom with those screws and then attach it, attach it to the metal detector itself. So it should hold it stable. We'll see how this goes. Well, through the magic of lost footage, you can see that we've jumped forward here a little bit in time. And hopefully you can still get the basic idea of what I've done here. You can kind of see how I got that three-way piece angled off those elbows there, going down to the legs with the caps on the end of them. And none of this is glued together yet though, so I'm still trying to get a feel for how this is working out at this point. And you can see how the plan is to attach the metal detector guts itself up there to the top with that PVC T there. Not exactly sure that's going to work out for me though. So kind of give you an idea what I'm working with here, and again, the idea is that you make this project your own. And here's another angle here. You can see how that screw piece there is detachable from the bipod legs themselves. I think that might be useful for storage or transport or whatever, or I don't know, maybe if the legs get in my way or something. Again, this is a work in progress, and as I've always said, I like to show you guys my successes and failures, so we're going to kind of just keep going along with this and see how this plays out. Okay, well, as you can see, that T-joint really wasn't working out for me, so I went ahead and bisected that and brought the metal detector body closer to the frame. You can kind of see that in this picture here. You'll get a close-up of that later. And there it is. I had to use washers because I wasn't countersinking that anymore, but that was my concern, was right there was where the gap was. There was too big of a gap with that entire T-joint on there still. So we got that out of there, and I kind of like the way that sits a lot better. So we're still kind of in the prototype stage here. Nothing's glued together. It's just kind of, coming along slowly. But let's keep going. Okay, well, we've got the final project here. I went ahead and marked everything out, and actually I've glued everything together at this point. You can kind of see how that all works. Everything's good and level. See how I did that T-joint? All just screws together just like this. See if I can do this with one hand or not. This ought to be interesting. Okay, there we go. Kind of get that in there, and that makes that adjustable, because you can tighten that as much as you want. I'll probably throw a little bit of beeswax on there to, make that a little bit easier to screw in and screw out. But that's about it. All it needs is a coat of paint, and we'll see how she looks. Well, with any project, paint on PVC, I'm not exactly sure how long this is going to last on here, but I did actually primer it first. But either way, it looks better than the white PVC pipe. So if it gets a little scratched up, it gets scratched up. Let's take a look at what this thing is going to look like on the detector finished. And here we go. That's it. You can see how that holds the the computer part, if you want to call it that, of the metal detector up and out of the way, up off the ground, if you're in some wet grass or mud or whatever. Kind of gives you a little bit more clearance on that. Pretty stable. I like it. Pretty cool the way it turned out. Happy for a little free project. Show you the bottom of it here real quick and see how everything attached there. Again, just straight through to the original attachment points on the metal detector body itself. So everything worked out, and again, The entire thing was free, so I'm not out anything other than a couple minutes of time, and for you watching this video, you're not out anything other than a couple minutes of your time. And if you found this video interesting, or if it gave you any ideas, maybe you'd consider giving me a thumbs up like on it. And maybe, just maybe, I'll see you on the next video.